YouTube, it's Jen.
And Brad.
And we're here for our week 47 lap band post-op update. And I am stinky, and I'm sorry that you have to sit next to me. Like, it's
okay.
bad when I can smell myself.
Yep.
So, sorry guys. Be glad that you can't smell. Okay, let's start with the numbers. Do I have to, do CPR on you?
No,
Did I
big
kill
yawn.
you? I am 5'4" tall. I started this journey at 262 pounds, my highest weight. Last week I was 182 even, and this week, thank the Lord, I finally broke into the 170. So I'm 179.2 for a 2.8 pound loss and an overall weight loss of 82.8 pounds. So, yay! I have been waiting to see those 170s.
So I 6 feet tall. I started at 320. Last week I was 222.6. This week I was 222.2 for a 0.4 pound loss for a total of 97.8. And I'll happily take that 0.4 pound loss considering the events for this weekend.
Well, we both have this last week, we haven't worked out.
Correct.
Right? Because today's my first workout
Yep.
since, I don't know. Because we went out of town for the weekend. And again, you're out of town.
But we were out of town. My nephew turned 4, so we were down in Miami. And, you know, it's a scenario where I'm happy to say I didn't overeat like I used to when I was pre-lap band, where you would just eat for the sake of eating. But I let myself eat whatever I wanted to eat. So, birthday cake, we went out to dinner and had desserts and stuff. And so it was one of those things where, and you know, when you're on a road trip, you got to stop off at the gas station to get junk to eat. So I had a bag of Doritos.
Did you have Doritos?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Remember I got the Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh, Cool Ranch I hate, so
Yep.
didn't remember that.
So it was more of a, I let myself be free with what I decided to have, but I still had lap band portions of stuff. So like, for instance, we went out to breakfast on Sunday, and then when we were at the party and they had lunch, I'm like, well, I'm still kind of full, so I just had some coleslaw. You know, I tried the coleslaw
Some pickles, didn't you?
and a pickle. So it's like, you know, whereas the old me would be like, oh, look at all these sandwiches, and oh, look at all these chips, and, you know, all those kinds of things that we just passed over, so I'm happy about that. So I'm still glad I got the 0.4 loss, so I'll take it. You? Anything to add?
It's very hard when we go to Miami to see his family because, number one, we're out of not only the control over the food, like where we eat, because they kept picking, like, for example, for me, breakfast is hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I eat a protein bar or I eat oatmeal, but they kept wanting to go, they have to go to their specific place for breakfast, and we have to eat at certain times, and so we have no control over the food, no control over the times, no control over so many of the things that I know that I don't always make the best choices because it's kind of hard to plan. So I ate crappy, and I didn't work out, and it is what it is. So, but I had a loss, and it's not, the loss is in no way due to earning it this week. Like, I did not deserve it this week, but I feel like that loss was earned weeks before, and it just didn't come to fruition until this week. So,
Yeah, that loss on layaway?
no, but with that said, I think people are always like, I was so good this week, why isn't there a loss? And I understand that, because there's many weeks where I'm like killing it, and the number is like a 0.2, and you're like, what the hell? But I think that sometimes it just takes a little time for your body to register, and just because you have a good week where eating is on point and exercising is on point, doesn't mean the scale's always going to reflect it that week. The scale doesn't know that Wednesday is my weigh-in day, so Wednesday it needs to register the results. Sometimes, you know, last week I was having my period, so I think that some of this was already in the works, but, you know. Anyways, so that is my thing. However, as you all know, last week I had my fill and unfill and take all the liquid out, put all the liquid in, and then it was still too tight and we took more out. I have finally experienced what you all have already experienced. I had never had the point prior to this week where eating a certain quantity was ever an issue. Like, if I ate slowly, I could pack it in. I choose not to. I choose to try to follow the lap band rules, but I have never eaten and gone, oh my god, I'm full in the stuffed sense. I've never felt stuffed. I've never felt that. Well, I had two PB episodes this week. One was our nephew's birthday, and I was starving to death, and I ate a little sandwich and took the top off, and that was my bad, my stupidity. I know. I told you all I was giving up bread, and sometimes the hunger of the lower stomach yells louder than the brain. So that was my bad. But what I was trying to get to was, what was it? It was last night. Last night did I have the PB? Yes, it was right after working out. Last night I worked out, and I know I'm tired after working out, and I waited a little while until I got hungry, and then and my body goes from totally fine to so hungry you better get that food in me immediately. And so I was eating and eating and eating, and I started to get some pressure, and normally, stupid me, will eat through the pressure. I'm hungry, the lower stomach is much louder than the band going, feed me. So last night, even though I started to get pressure, and I started to feel something, and I'm like, you know what? And I'm thinking, nah, by the time the next bite goes in, that bite will go through. And I had probably 5 extra bites that were delicious. And for the first time ever, my band said, Jen, that is more than your little pouch can hold. And it all came up. So I'm glad that now there is a content or a maximum capacity restriction, and I now know what it feels like, and I now know that I need to pay attention to that. But I've never had that before, so that was a PB that obviously is user error, but I'm not as culpable because I didn't know. So will you let me take that one as a...
Yes, because you said you were going to learn from it, and you promised
and
me
I
last
did,
night.
and tonight I did the same thing. I worked out at CrossFit again, a much harder workout, and I ate much sooner after working out, but I ate, and if I felt the least bit of pressure, I just stop eating until the pressure is completely gone, because I know my lower stomach is hungry, but I want to keep the lap band where it is. I do not want to slip it by puking, so I am definitely, we all have to be very cognizant of the signs our body tells us, because before the bad stuff happens, we get signs. I just sometimes choose to ignore them, so.
So I actually, was it yesterday? Yes. Yesterday, I had a PB incident. So it was my first one in, it's going to be at least 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And...
No, it was the first one since we got back since we went.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So at least 3 weeks.
A while.
And of all things, I PB'd on grapes. And it was the skins of the grapes. So, you know, there's some vegetables I found are much harder for me now that I can't really do. And I know with fruits I have to be careful on certain things. But that was my first PB on grapes, and it was like, oh, it was discouraging because I love grapes. And I'm like, really? Grape skin? That's what's going to mess with me? But it happened, and try as I might, and I was at work when it happened. I was in a meeting.
You were in a meeting? You didn't
Well,
do that.
it was a lunch meeting, and so I was eating my grapes, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little stuck here. All right, let me just wait. Maybe it'll pass. Maybe it'll pass. And then it got to be my turn where I was supposed to make some comments on some deliverables and stuff, and so I'm talking, and I'm like burping and hiccuping while I'm talking, and people are kind of looking at me funny. I'm like, I gotta take a call. I'll be right back. So I stepped out. I went to the bathroom, and I just PB'd, and there was the grape skins. So I came back, and I was fine. But I think I might have to cross grapes off the list for a little while at least.
Well, I think the difference is that you will take a bunch of grapes with you. Like, I can eat like 5 grapes, and 5 grapes after that, my body's like, you can't have any more grapes. And I think that you don't necessarily have to cut grapes off the list unless it was grape number 2 that did this to you.
No, it wasn't grape.
So yeah, if you just limit yourself to less grapes. So, yes, grapes.
But that was my
Everything.
PB.
Everything is a possible stuck episode.
Yep.
Everything. Except for cream of wheat. Always eat cream of wheat. What else? PB. My boss actually came into my office yesterday, And my boss is not one for giving compliments and not one for, sitting around and being like, I don't know. So she sat down and she's like, "You are looking so good." And I'm like, "Thank you." And she's like, "No, really, you're looking so good." And in where I work, you have to have a badge with your photo ID on it. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hoping in 20 more pounds I can convince the guys downstairs to give me a new badge." She's like, "Let me see that badge." She's like, "That doesn't look like you at all." And I'm like, "Thank you, I know, it's really awful." So it was nice to finally get somebody to say, especially somebody that doesn't need to be telling me because I wasn't asking. She just preemptively said, "You're looking so good." So that made me feel better because a lot of times, we get discouraged, especially since I, couldn't seem to get out of the 180s to save my life. That was really, really nice. And last night actually, I went back to CrossFit. I took October and part of November off from CrossFit. Had a bad experience last night where a trainer was mean to me, but I'm not letting the trainer win.
Nope.
Came back to CrossFit today and I'm getting it done. So, what else?
So I just glanced over.
Oh, go ahead.
I say, how much is the fat baby?
The fat baby is, and I can't add that well.
180.6.
180.6.
Yes.
That is a very fat baby, not a PHAT baby. That's an FAT baby. And what else? I don't know. We only talked briefly about this on the phone today. We signed up for the color run.
Oh, that's right.
January 26th, 9 a.m. You, me, and my sister. Hopefully, Shelly and the band. I sent you an email. Our team is called Banded Together. Join us. So we'll be doing the color run. I'm very excited.
Yep.
Because it'll be cold instead of being so hot. So, you good with that?
I am.
Anything else?
Just kind of an NSV. This weekend we're going to go and I have to have a suit taken in.
Oh, yes.
So I was shopping in the closet and I found an old suit from when I was thinner. And I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be able to get in this suit. Maybe if I lose some more weight. And the suit was big on me. So we're going to take the suit to have it taken in so I can wear it at a wedding coming up.
And I have to go buy a dress for a wedding because even though I've lost the weight and I'm the same weight, approximately maybe 5 pounds, from when I wore the dress last, apparently all my weight is in my boobs. The boobs are not losing. So the dress fits everywhere else except for the boobs. So I can get a boobectomy in the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
They make Spanx for the boobs.
Yeah, do they make boob Spanx?
They make Banks.
So that is it. Anything else?
We'll do the shout-outs next week.
Yes, we'll do shout out. I'm sucking. It's what time is it?
It's about
9:05, which in Gen time is like almost bedtime, and I still have to shower. So I'm sorry we did not get any shout outs today, but they're coming next week. Although we did meet, I just want to say for the record, we did meet at the Brain Dictionary turning off. At our last Laugh Man
Support
meeting.
group. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we got to meet Heather
Yes.
H. Sella. I'm not sure what your YouTube name is, but it was wonderful meeting you, and you're getting your surgery in like a week. And I think that's it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. I'm sorry.
You enjoy making videos.
I just love my people, and I love every day on the way to work and on the way home from work listening to everybody, and I'm just love you all. I love you too.
And I love you too.
You're good support, but I really love listening to everybody's journey. So
Yep.
we will be back next week, and hopefully you will all be big losers in the meantime.
Indubitably. Bye.
Bye.